Right then, I've had a lot of questions. Let's see if I can cover all of these. Okay, so we know that this auxiliary tank had a load of crap in it. I think some of it is probably still coming down from this tank. We'll get into that. I cleaned that out. Now, I didn't actually bother stripping all the back end down and removing it. And the reason I didn't do that was when I took these carbs apart, what I actually did, took the float balls off and then pulled all the jets, and all the jets were clear. Not a single one was clogged in any way, shape or form, nor did it have anything even remotely dirty on it. There was some very, very, very fine powder gathering in the bottom of the float bowls. So I cleaned all them out and thought, do you know what? Let me just address this filter issue here. Slap the carbs back on, which turned out to be a pain in the arse job. I'll talk you through how these carbs come off in a second. But what I did was I filled this tank. I filled this tank full of what's it called? A vapor rust, which is like Rust-Oleum. I think Rust-Oleum's a bit more strong by the sounds of it, but anyway, filled that full of a vapor rust. It got a little bit out, but not a lot. And then got the camera back in. I'll put some of that, I'll insert some of that in here, because it was definitely dirtier before I cleaned it than when I'd finished. So, because the Rust-Oleum had not done an awful lot, and there wasn't anything much coming out of the feed tube on the bottom of here, I filled it full of household oven cleaner, the spray stuff that foams up, put half a can of that in and just left it in there for about 40 minutes. Washed that out and that came out like thick brown soup. So that seems to have been dissolving the deposits of old fuel that were gathered on the side. I think what's happened here, when I first put fuel in this after we'd rebuilt it, I put about half a can of snow foam in there thinking, let's just dissolve everything. And I think I pretty much dissolved everything and it all ended up in the carbs. I think that's what happened. So the news is, after I went for that ride yesterday, and again, there's more to that video. I might put a clip of the very end of that just as I was about to head home. Because what happened was, after about 20 or 30 miles, yeah, it went back down onto feeling like it was running on one cylinder again. Fuel starved again. Got me home, I shut it down, checked under the seat, and there was some dirt in the new fuel filter. Cleaned that out, start the bike back up, ran great. It's, if you notice a little drip from there, it's just that I've loosened this to drain this float bowl. So it dawned on me last night that inside here, take the float bowl off, take the floats out, take the needle out, comes off with the floats anyway, and that needle goes into a brass seat. Now what I can't remember on these carbs, behind that brass seat there is sometimes a tiny little filter about this big, really thin thing, about the same size as a float needle, sits up behind there. Now if this has got those in, when I took these carbs off, the only piece that I got a lot of junk out was where the feed tube goes in. There's a cross pipe goes between two carbs, which is made of plastic, and on this one there's a metal piece goes between the other two carbs. I didn't take the carbs off the plenum. I literally just pushed a can of carb clean and sprayed it up into the seat for the float needle, and pushed it with the carbs upside down back out of the intake tube where the fuel pipe connects. And lots of quite large chunks, I mean, well, not massive, but you know, noticeable chunks came out of that. So that was definitely clogged up. And what I thought at the time was, well, if that was so clogged up with big chunks, how come the float bowls aren't full of it? I think the answer may be that it's got those little tiny filters behind the float bowl seats. And so I'm going to pull this float bowl here because I can get to it, and I can get to the one at the other side. Not sure if we're going to be able to get to these ones. Should be able to, but I've never done it before, so I know I can get this one off. So I'm going to take this float bowl off, pull the floats off, pull the needle out, take that brass seat out, see what's behind it, and I'm hoping, might sound a bit of a strange thing to hope for, but I'm hoping that that's clogged up. This bike, if I just sit and rock the kill switch backwards and forwards and force it to pump through and fill the float bowls, runs like a new bike. And then it very quickly deteriorates. When I started it yesterday and I said, it didn't run like this yesterday, it's because it was clacking slightly. And I had to turn the idle up a little bit as well. So we shall see. I'm going to take that off and I'm going to go and grab a cup of tea. Okay. Let's see if you can actually see this, but against something white background. Don't know how well this is going to focus. But yep. Let me just... I haven't got my tripod with me at the moment, but that is one of the filters from behind the float needle, and I don't know if you can see, but it's actually collapsed, and it's covered in, well, it's clogged. So yeah, confirmed, that's exactly what the problem is. Now the question is, can I get the rest of the float bowl needles out, sorry, float bowls off? That's question number one. Let me just, 1 second. Okay, so I don't know if you can see all this, but yeah, it's just all of this came off this and it's still not clean. So yeah, definitely the problem. The question now is, can I get the rest of the float bowls off, do the same with them, take the fuel pipe off and spray, well, let's use WD-40 through until we've got clear WD-40 pouring out of the fuel delivery holes in here. So that would explain why there was so much crud in the fuel lines, but just very, very, very fine powder in the float bowls. And also why all of the jets were clear. So it's fuel starvation still. I had these carbs off, perfect time to do what I'm trying to do now with the carbs on. I'm going to have a go, and if it's just too much of a struggle, I'm just going to take the carbs off again. I mean, yes, it's a pain in the arse job. Anybody who tells you it isn't is just imagining things. But it's not that difficult. It's half an hour. So somebody asked me how to get the carbs off. Right then, decision's been made. We had a valiant effort and managed to get one float ball off. We got 3 screws out of the next one and then got to the 4th screw. If I had a 6mm spanner, we might be able to get it off. But then after struggling with that for what, 20 minutes?
Easily, yeah, 20-30 minutes.
We've made an executive decision that we're just going to remove the carbs. I might need to go and grab something just to pinch that, because I'm not exactly sure that that fuel tap's going to stop the fuel from flowing out. And in true fashion, of course, I filled the tank up yesterday. You saw the end of the video of me pulling up to the fuel station. I didn't fill it right up to the brim, but you're not supposed to tilt that up with more than 1/3 of a tank in, and I think it's just because it over pressurizes that and causes your carbs to flood. So what I'll do first is pull that fuel tube off. And just make sure that we're not going to be yeah, whatever. Let's just crack on, shall we? So for those that wanting to know how I get these carbs off, let's get the tank up on its prop. Squeak, squeak. One of these is like half an inch shorter than the other one. Okay, and while we're in here as well, remind me we need to fix that neutral light issue. Right, we'll soon know, because there's nothing stopping the fuel from coming out of this. So. We've got fuel peeing out. No? Okay.
Like it. All looks good.
We might be good. Okay, so let's not mess around. First job, we've got to get to 2 screws. Now, one of them is down here, and you've got to kind of rag this out of the way to get to it. And it's about where that is. I need to come where you are, Stephen. There it is. If you lift this up, you can just about see it.
Don't know whether we saw that or not, but
I don't know, I can't even see it myself at the moment. Oh, there it is, it's a bit further up, it's here. So right where that is, I'm in it now. Undo that one. Okay, just keep going until it clicks and leave it in there. And the other one, you need to move this pipe out the way, and throttle cable and choke cable and stuff like that. So I just usually poke them down and prod around until I find it. There's the other one. Okay, with them 2 off, this comes out. And you need to reach in, and hopefully yours will have a plastic clip there that's broken off of mine that holds the air filter in. It goes in there and clips in, but mine's got that bit bust off. So, air filtering housing off. We're now down to the top of the plenum. There's a cover on either side. Take them off, 1 screw. That's that one off. Same on the other side. Take that one off.
make sure you lose all the bolts.
Yeah, I just keep them where they are, to be honest. I've never been one for lining bolts up, I probably should. Right, so we're going to take this off next. There's, I think, 6 screws, and you'll see them, they're all the same when you get them out. All these ones with a sleeve on them. So there's one there, there's one in the middle. There's one in the middle at the back. Okay, there's one over here somewhere, there. That's the awkward one. You need a magnetic screwdriver to put this one back in. To be honest, a magnetic screwdriver helps with all of these. Like so. Okay, let's get that one out. And then there's 2 at the front here, at the left side.
The sun's not playing well with us today, is it?
Okay, how many is there? 2, 4, 6. Yeah, that's right. Okay, load them in there. Now, this is not going to look pretty, but this thing does come out. It's just, only just. Don't try and take this mesh piece out. Just bring it all out together. And I normally take it out that way, but what I'm going to do is just undo this. That's what I needed a socket set for. So, thermostat housing. It's held onto the side of a plenum with just one bolt. Get in. Look at that. It's a dodgy repair, isn't it? Let's not fix it. Okay.
And if it works.
So, now we can move that out of the way, and this should come out this way. It is a very, very tight fit. I can't remember which way it goes out, it's this way or the right, but I'm going to try this way today. You have to watch you don't tear any wires when you do it. There it comes. Okay, so I'll say it looks like it won't come out, but it will. And also just notice this. So there's a piece of that missing. That's an air leak. You know, I said there was. I thought there was a bit of an air leak yesterday. That could be it. I think I've got some of this. In fact, I think I've got one of these gaskets. And if I have, I'll replace it. If not, I'm going to fill that full of RTV.
You don't bodge on this channel, do you?
What?
You don't do bodges on this channel, do you?
I bodge everything there. Okay, so although the carbs look like they are still solidly connected there, essentially all that's holding them in now is these clamps and the cables. Oh, and the fuel line. I'm going to take the fuel line off next. A pair of pliers which I didn't get, back in a second. Right. I've seen lots of variations of these on Magnas. This particular one just has one connection going into the carbs and then crosses over between the carbs. Putting myself in the eyeball. there somewhere. Hopefully it'll stop dripping. Yeah. And that's it. So if we undo the clamps, which is just lots and lots of these. So 2 per carb. One goes to the carb, the other goes to... And when you undo them, don't just loosen them, undo them like a long way to get your finger in, stop them from spinning. But get them all the way undone, because you want these loose. You don't want anything holding the carb when you're pulling them out. And normally when I struggle to get carbs out, it's because I've just not loosened these off enough. Can't believe I'm taking these off again. If you'd have been in my yard the other day, the air was blue. I was swearing trying to get these back on. They did not want to go on. I had to use the ratchet strap, first time ever for me. I've normally just get them roughly in position, a little bit of a lever, a little bit of a push, and in they go, but no, they were not playing ball the other day. Get these good and loose. And the same on the other side. This video's for the Far Rider, because he asked me for some photos on how to take the carbs out. So now we're taking the carbs out. Far Rider. This is how you take the carbs out. And trust me, there's somebody that keeps going on about V45s on this channel. And I have got a V45, but this is a V65. There is nothing the same about a V45 and a V65. They look the same. This thing's just bigger in all dimensions, and it's got a lot more room around here. So trying to do what I'm doing now on a V45 is a lot harder. That's that. So with those all loose, this disconnected, fuel pipe disconnected, there's now nothing holding these carbs in. Am I right? Yes. So what I normally do, I'm brutal. So get a little bar and just start to ease them.
2.6. Come.
Doesn't matter which one comes off, you're just trying to unseat them. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here, but you can see that's starting to move. And I'll come and find somewhere to lever on the back one. Again, these are aluminium carbs. We don't want to be snapping pieces off the carbs, so it's just a case of finding somewhere like that. Just putting a bit of pressure on, and we're just breaking the seal, not breaking the carbs. So a little bit of levering, a little bit more levering. You can see these starting to come now. I'll do the same on the other side. That one's off. And that one's off. So we see now this one's completely lifted up now to there. I'm not going to try and lever it any further. I need to get them all just popped off like that. Oh, look at this, quick, Stephen. This is fuel running down through the one that I've removed the filter from. Look at that. So that's coming from up in here. Look, you see it running down my finger there. So this is where I've got my finger in the hole where the look. So all that dirt is stuck in that fuel tube that goes all the way through the carbs there. If I sprayed some WD-40, I'm pretty certain what's going to... In fact, hang on, I'll tell you what we do.
Yeah, go for it.
Anything running out?
No.
Seriously?
Yeah. Got a drip. But, oh, there you go. It's starting to come out now. Triple
Is
two.
it clean?
Black.
Black.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
You're gonna need to get some.
Is that all that came out?
Yeah, which indicates to me that's clogged.
Yeah, exactly. Hang on, let's spray a bit more.
Still the same, mate. Nothing coming through.
Let's spray some of this other way. I can't see the hole. Oh God, this is covered in. I can feel chunky bits in this now.
You're gonna have to take them off and fully clean them.
There we go. Oh, look at this.
Whoa. And that's why you're running like a.
Look at that.
What I won't say.
Yeah. Glad we're taking these carbs off now. But that explains why there was nothing going into the float bowls. It was all getting captured by those little tiny filters.
Yeah.
Which is good because I don't have to strip the carbs completely down and clean all the jets and everything. They were already clean. But we do need to get all of that out of that tube. And the only real way of doing that is getting things off.
And a lot of tins of brake clean.
Yeah. Well, WD-40 flavour of the month, mate. I'm trying to get some free WD-40 out of this. Right, that one's out. That one's more or less out. Move to a screwdriver now. So I'm just trying to persuade. Not that one. There's that long screwdriver. Do you know, I'm hopeless at this. Put things down, I can't find them.
That's why you need a garage, mate.
Need a workshop.
Yeah, need a workshop.
I know my tools up right the sizes of them down there. So.
You'd be like a younger James May.
Yeah. Old fat man.
Yeah.
Right, you want these out because you need the space. So as you get them popped free, just lever them off. And pull them out. When you come to put them back in, you'll see there's an impression on here of the edge of a nut. That goes towards your engine side, and you'll see the corresponding nut there, look. So that's what's made that impression. Right, other side, and then we can pull the carbs this way. Out. And that one's out. Come on. Anything won't come off. There we go. Okay. Now with those off, we've now gained, if you go on that side,
Yep.
you've now gained enough room that these, look how loose these are now. There's a breather pipe just here. You just need to pull the clip off and pull that breather pipe off. Sorry about that. They usually just pull off with your hand, they're not tight. It goes to one of the breathers down by the battery box. So just yoink that out of the way. Oh, by the way, we've named this bike, me and Far Rider, again, we agree. This is the one piece. Right. Be careful of this. So the only thing holding it in now are the cables. This one, because the way I've got it rigged, I can't turn that nut, but it's just tight enough to trap that so it choke works, and when you come to need to take it out, you just give it a wiggle.
Again, you don't bodge.
We don't bodge. And to spin around, and that's the choke out. Better to take these out here. Start with that side. That's the pull side, the one with the adjustable nut on top and on top and bottom. This one, that's most. Sorry, I've got that wrong way around, haven't I? Tell me which side's pull. Oh, sorry, that's the pull side because it's got a nut top and bottom. The one that's only got, that one's not adjustable. You're just putting that in and tighten it up. That one's where you get your adjustment. So 10mm spanner. And a bit of patience, because these things don't want to move. There's a little bar there that seems to want to prevent it from moving, but which way am I going? That way. But you can actually turn past it. You just got to get your spanner on. If it starts getting stuck behind this little tab, just wiggle this and it'll move again. So as you can see, there's nothing scary about taking these carbs off. We're just sitting here on a Sunday morning with a cup of coffee, just doing it, and so far the only tools I've used is a 10mm spanner, a screwdriver,
a pry bar,
and a pry bar. Oh, and a 10mm socket to take the thermostat housing off. Right, that comes out of there, and then you can get that one out. That then gives you a bit of free play on this one. There's a lock nut on the top of these. Undo that one first. And just shove it all the way up against the top nut. There's nothing to stop that one from spinning, so you usually do this one with your fingers. There you go. So get that all the way up to the top. Wiggle that, because you need to get this out of here. There you go, that's out. And then with your free cable, pull that round there, pop that cable out of there, lift it. Come on, you flipping thing. There we go. That's free, and then carbs should come out. So that is how you remove the carbs on a V65 Magna. Right then, I don't know how many times I have to say, let's let that car go past. I don't know how many times I have to say this, but it's all back together again. So it's still Sunday. The carbs went in really easy this time. Same, just reverse of taking them out, but when you put these in, just cockle that way so that the back end's on, the front end's lifted up, and this one cockle it the other way. And then when you put the carbs in, you literally press vertically down on them, and that one will cockle over, that one will cockle over, and they just go click and drop in. That's the theory, and that's what happened today. Yesterday, no chance. I couldn't get them lined up, they wouldn't go down, I had to use ratchet straps to pull them down. And do you know why I think that was? Not having these bands loose enough when you're trying to do it. Just loosen them all the way off, and then the rubber expands and they just plop into place and you tighten them up. So that's all I had to do today. Clean that out, and I have run it, but yeah, you lot didn't hear it, did you? So you won't believe me. Wait a minute. Oh, and I fixed the neutral light problem. It was, if I put that diode there. So underneath your seat, sitting in a little white plastic case, is one of them, a diode. This I bought while we were putting this bike back together, because we had this neutral light problem. I bought this Chinese thing. It's gone already. I've just dug around in a bag of spares that I have in the back, found an old one. Neutral light on, into first, clutch in, doesn't go to neutral, so it only goes in neutral when you put it in neutral. Diode, right, that's done. And in the meantime, I'm just going to put you over here for a second, and you're just going to have to deal with being fell over on your side while I start this up. Okay, sounds slightly different from yesterday. Ready? That's a V65 running on all four. Let's go strap this camera to my chin again and see what it feels like on the road. Wonder if I've got enough GoPro battery left. Oh, I guess we're going to find out. Oh my God. Oh, this is a different beast. This sounds naughty. Oh God, that bloody hole again. God, this thing is ridiculous. Okay, this thing has gone, let's put them lights on, this thing has gone from being, oh my God, that's powerful, to this is just utterly ridiculous. It just wants to go in every gear. It doesn't matter what gear you're in, you just wind on the throttle and away it goes, which is what they said they were going to do with it, full power in every gear. Just take our time through this village. And for the people wanting to know why I didn't smoke the arse of that Land Rover yesterday, I was doing 60 miles an hour, which is the speed limit. I don't know what he was doing, but he was driving like a frigging idiot. And to be honest, on that road I've had tractors pull out, so you know, new bike, unsure about it, back tyres a little bit on the soft side and needs replacing. I'm not going to go stupid just yet. I'm giving it a little bit when there's nothing on the roads. But yeah, this thing wants to go. And second gear, now let's do it in third. Look. right, bottom of third gear. What's wrong? Oh my goodness, I just don't know what to say. I always said this thing was a beast, and I was laughing yesterday at the power I'd got back, but today that's running like it should have been. So all that was caused by a blockage in the fuel feed line between the carbs, and those tiny little filters had held back. There was loads of it in there, big flakes of crunchy stuff. It was horrible. I don't know how long that's been in there. I don't remember taking those seats out when I cleaned the carbs, so potentially it's from before, but that bike just ran absolutely supreme, excellent. All 4 cylinders barking like a good one. Had loads of power in every gear. Who was it? I think it was Far Rider yesterday telling me that he saw 4th gear too much. Well, I even had it up in overdrive coming down that back road. This thing is insane and fixed. So there you go. From the state it was in under that, somebody found that yesterday. The first time this thing appeared on my channel was actually to that guy, it was the video before where this first appeared, but the video you watched was where I took the cover off. The video before, it was under that cover, and I said I wasn't going to tell anybody what it was yet. It was on a CM125, I think it was like number 4 or number 5 at the end of that video. But from where it looked like there, and from all the problems that we saw with this bike, we're not finished yet. Still need to put a back tyre on it. It still needs polishing. I haven't touched it with polish or cleaning it yet. So we're going to do some of that. We'll put a back tyre on it because that one looks okay. I just saw it. It looked like it was starting to crack in there, and it's old rubber. I don't trust it. So now that we've got it running, First, jobs left to do. Got to balance the carbs. That was running with just bench set carbs, and it was awesome. Can't wait to see it running properly set up, because if you notice, the throttles, the revs are not quite dropping, they're drifting down. Usually you fix that with sorting out your idle mixture screws. I found these two, the front ones were set differently to the back ones. Front ones were on 2.5 turns out, which is factory setting. The back ones were, one was 4.5 and one was 5 turns out. I've never seen one that far out. So I've set those back to 2.5 turns just for now, again, just bench set. We'll sort it out when we balance these carbs. And to the kind chap that offered to post me his carb balancer, I do have a carb balancer. I don't have one of those new digital ones. And the only reason I haven't bought one is I don't use them enough to justify it when I've got a set that work fine. So I'm going to balance the carbs. This I'm not massively concerned about, but I've got a set of fork seals for this, so we should go ahead and do the fork seals. I just never got round to it, too busy doing other things. Fork seals on these are dead easy. It's like everything else. You can do them one at a time, so you don't have to get too silly. To the guy that said, how do I jack it up because there's 2 exhausts go down the centre of the pan, I just put a block of wood under there. And then use a trolley jack that lifts, put it on its centre stand, block of wood under the centre of the engine, trolley jack underneath that, jack it up. Just keep going till the back wheel touches the ground. If you're worried about the kickstand, the main stand folding up, put a ratchet strap around it and just hold it the way it goes when you pick it up, and then it can't fall over. But I've never had one do that. Yeah, so I've still got stuff to do on this. But it's on the road, it's road legal, it's MOT for the people who in the UK that know what that is, motor ordnance test, it's exempt from that. And you still have to tax these things when they're 40 years old, but I've changed the tax class to historic vehicle, because it is. And yeah, I have to tax it, but it costs nothing, so that's cool. So we're all on the road legal, with a bike that is absolutely insane. I'm going to have to really be careful and watch myself on this, because I do have a habit of going, ooh, right throttle go, twist. So yeah, thanks for watching.